What's up, homies? It's Ebony. Welcome to the channel. I like being responsive to the news for once in my life, so I wanted to talk to you all about Blac Chyna. So she's been in the news recently talking about her surgery journey, removing some of the surgeries that she had done, removing the breast implants or shrinking them down, also removing her silicone shots from her bum. And I think she said she's getting her face fillers taken out too. So exciting for her, very exciting for her and her journey that she's on. We'll look at how she's being impacted by this Neptune Moon transit. And in the process, we'll do a little bit of medical astrology to see how things are showing up for her. Okay, so let's stick around until after the beat drops. So Blac Chyna is going through this process, and I predicted it maybe about 20 weeks ago that she would be going through this Neptune Moon phase. And I'll explain what that is in a little bit, but we're going to dig into her chart. Okay, y'all, so I'm going to put this chart on the screen real big. Apologies for the lighting and sound today. I'm in the process of moving, so everything's a mess, and I look a mess, and I have this big thing on my eye, so we're just gonna ignore that. Anyway, so looking at the chart, Blac Chyna, if we're looking at the natal chart, we can start there. We can see some things. We don't have her birth time, as I mentioned. So given that, we don't know the exact placement of her moon, like exactly where it is, but we can get a pretty good idea that it's in the sign of Pisces. And if you put it at noon for her birth time, then we get a moon at 25 degrees Pisces, 37 minutes. And just some of the other things that you can see here, we've got the moon conjunct the north node. So that's going to give her some very mothering, nurturing connections, womanly connections close by. We're also seeing this Venus Chiron, so there's like love wounding that's coming up. Also, perhaps a sort of self-esteem issue, even with the Venus Chiron. I don't really want to go too far into this chart because I really want to focus on the medical stuff, but it is, I always orient myself into the person's birth chart before looking at the transit charts because that's an important thing to do. But I'm going to whip it around and we're going to look at these transits. So the first one that I talked about today initially was the Neptune Moon. So assuming her moon is at 25 degrees of Pisces and Neptune is currently at 25 degrees of Pisces, that's an exact Neptune transit to her moon. It's a conjunction. So when you have Neptune Moon conjunction, you can experience a lot of spiritual changes in your life and just kind of wanting to release things, let go, move on. You really start to look at your life and be like, what have I even been doing? Like, what is the point of all of this? You also are more likely to move home. You may move closer to water. You may experience issues with water damage in your home. When I went through this transit, I had water damage in my home. I ended up moving multiple times, and every home that I stayed in, even just visiting, had water damage in it in some way. Like there would be mold, there would be a pipe issue, a leak. It was crazy. So it's like the water just kind of follows you wherever you go. There's a desire to have this spiritual freedom and to be unencumbered by, the materialities of life. So this is why I referenced Kanye a while back, is because I think he was going through a Neptune Moon transition or transit in addition to, whatever other things he has going on in general. But like that can make you just kind of want to not care about fame or fortune and just be like, whatever, I can go live out on this farm and just chill, and I listed out several celebrities who are going through the transit on my initial post, but I will share them in this video towards the end. But I just want to go back to Blac Chyna's chart for a minute. So we talked about the Neptune Moon, and interestingly, The moon is connected to femininity, is connected to breast, and mothering. So you're having Neptune come to the moon as well, which Neptune creates water issues, right? And she had like the silicone shots, at least in her bottom. I don't know what type of implants she had in her breast, but perhaps silicone there as well. But silicone would be a liquid, and that's creating damage in her body. And she was talking about how the shots and things and all of that can make you sick. So we also see the Neptune in a square to her natal Chiron. Okay, and Chiron we know can be a planet representing illness. It's also making a hard aspect to her natal Venus. On the opposite side, we see the same Neptune and Moon squaring the Saturn in her chart. And Saturn can create situations of hardening. And she acknowledged that the shots in her bottom were hardened. So that's why she's getting them taken out. And it was creating a lot of issues for her. Another thing that can come with Neptune Moon transits is a desire to escape. So I talked about wanting to be near water, but that can also come in the form of alcoholism, drugs, other forms of addictive behaviors. And interestingly for her, she actually has begun a sobriety journey. So that to me is kind of cool, especially because she has this Saturn involvement. And I feel like that is being highlighted through this Neptune Moon conjunction for her. And we also have the sun there on today. I'm so churchy. But on today, we have the sun, Neptune coming together. So the sun has highlighted the Neptune situation in her chart. And she's been in the news all day today, on film, on camera. She's documenting this journey, which is kind of a Sun Neptune thing for me as well, as to really document on video, to record what's happening. So, I'm not even going in depth with this. I could go a lot more, but I just wanted to highlight the really high level things that are happening in her chart, because she also has, interestingly, this Mars is squaring the Neptune as well. So that can also create sickness. So she's probably, been having a difficult time with all these sickness things popping up in her chart due to this Neptune making its rounds on her moon and really impacting the Chiron and the Saturn Uranus, really Neptune conjunction as well. So shout out to her for the journey that she's taking. I think that's really dope for her, and we look forward to seeing great things from Blac Chyna. Like, she doesn't need all that stuff anyway. She's beautiful without it. So congrats to her. And no shade to the people who do get surgeries or whatever, but I'm happy to see her coming back to her true self, and in a more positive way, because a Neptune moon transit can be really hard. When you lose that sense of self and you don't feel grounded, it's really the only thing that can save you is spirituality and finding your center in a higher power. And as promised, I did say I would mention some other celebrities that would be going through this transit. So I think I mentioned Kim Kardashian already. If I didn't, she's one of them. Catherine Zeta-Jones, James Woods, Kathy Bates, Sierra. Hers will be closer to spring 2024. O.J. Simpson, probably later this year. Also Kesha, Ricky Martin, probably more like spring 2024. Eve. So with that, again, you may see people moving to homes near the beach, stepping away from the spotlight, doing more spiritual things, maybe more philanthropic things, dealing with depression or delusion, having new or worsening issues with drugs or alcohol, or in case this Blac Chyna's case, stepping away with the Saturn influence. So it's going to depend on other influences in their chart. But I also mentioned water damage, getting duped in relationships or business deals. That can be another Neptune Moon thing. And then just not caring about money anymore. So looking forward to seeing how all of these play out, and wishing nothing but the best to really all of these people, regardless of how I feel about them, or regardless of how you feel about them. I just have unconditional positive regard for the people in the world. So thank you for watching. I hope this was fun for you. I hope you got to see a little medical astrology playing out with the sickness stuff. If I had a birth time, we could really go in. But I'll be cool. I'll be cool. So thanks again for being here. If you like this, want to see more content from the Homegirl Astrology channel, please subscribe. If you're interested in booking a reading with me, go to homegirlastrology.com. We're also on Instagram as well. Look it up. All right. Thanks for being here. Peace, homies.